So, you're ready to update your FPV quad's firmware, but maybe it seems a little daunting. Don't worry, we're going to demystify the whole process of flashing Betaflight today. Let's jump right in and get it done.
But hang on, before we plug anything in, let's ask the most important question first. Do you really need to do this? Seriously, answering this one honestly could save you a ton of time and maybe even a headache.
Here's the deal. Updating is not mandatory. If your quad is flying great and you love it, you can just leave it alone. There's no rule that says you have to be on the latest version. But if you're looking for that little bit of extra flight performance, or there's a cool new feature you want to try out, then yeah, an update is the way to go. The choice is totally yours.
So here's our flight plan. We've already talked about whether you should update. Next, we'll get our tools and software ready. Then we'll cover the essential backup, walk through the flashing process itself, and finally, talk about what to do after it's all done.
All right, let's get into our pre-flight check. Time to gather up all the gear and downloads we're going to need. You know, the good news is the hardware you need is super simple. You just need your flight controller, a USB cable that actually works for data, and of course, a computer that's connected to the internet. That's pretty much it.
Okay, for software, you're going to grab the Betaflight configurator, and you've got a choice here. You can go for the latest release, that's the stable, rock-solid version that's been tested by tons of people. Or if you like living on the edge, you can grab a pre-release. That'll give you the absolute newest stuff, but just know it might have some bugs. For most people, latest is the way to go.
Okay, everybody, listen up. We are now at, without a doubt, the single most important safety step in this entire guide, making a backup. I'm serious. Whatever you do, do not skip this part.
And here is exactly why it's so critical. When you flash new firmware, it's not like updating an app on your phone. It's going to completely wipe the flight controller clean. Everything, your PIDs, your rates, your settings, all of it will be gone. That's why that backup is your safety net.
Luckily, making that backup is incredibly easy. All you do is connect your flight controller, pop over to the Presets tab inside the configurator, click that big Save Backup button, and just give your file the name you'll recognize. 4 steps, and you're golden.
Okay, our backup is safely tucked away on our computer. It is time for the main event, actually flashing the new firmware. Let's do this.
First things first, Betaflight needs to know exactly what flight controller you have. Now, it's pretty good at auto-detecting it, but if for some reason it doesn't, don't sweat it. You've got 2 easy ways to find the name yourself. You can either look at the log messages when you first connect, or you can go to the CLI tab, type version, hit enter, and it'll tell you the board name right there.
The whole process really boils down to just 5 simple steps. 1. Choose if you want the stable or pre-release firmware. 2. Let it auto-detect or pick your board. 3. Select any extra features you need, like for your GPS. 4. Click Load Firmware Online. And 5. Hit that Flash Firmware button. That's it.
Now, once you click Flash, the configurator is going to try and put your board into something called DFU mode. So what the heck is that? Well, DFU just stands for Device Firmware Upgrade. Think of it as a special boot-up mode that lets us completely overwrite the old software with the new stuff.
But what if it doesn't go into DFU mode automatically? First of all, don't panic. This is a super common thing. The fix is easy. Just find that tiny little boot button on your flight controller, press and hold it down while you plug in the USB cable. That'll force it right into DFU mode, no problem.
Once it starts, you'll see a progress bar chugging along. First, it's going to erase the old stuff, and then it'll program the new firmware. This part can take a minute or 2, so just be patient, let it do its thing, and definitely don't unplug it. And then you'll see it. Programming successful. That's the magic message. So congratulations, you did it. The firmware is updated. So what's next?
Okay, this is really important to understand. Your flight controller is now a completely blank slate. It's factory fresh. All your old settings are gone. This means you have to set up your quad from scratch. And a word of warning, be really careful just restoring that old backup file. Sometimes settings from an old version can cause new problems. A fresh setup is almost always the best way forward.
And that's all there is to it. You've successfully flashed new firmware. Now you've got all the power and features of the latest Betaflight update. So the only real question left is, what new feature are you going to go explore first?